Love and Joe are grappling with the challenges of parenthood as they navigate the ups and downs of caring for their newborn son, Henry. The stress of their new responsibilities takes a toll on their relationship, causing tensions to rise. Meanwhile, Joe finds himself struggling to form a connection with Henry and becomes fixated on their alluring next-door neighbor, Natalie Engler. She is a successful real estate agent and the wife of a wealthy tech mogul, Matthew Engler. Love, on the other hand, tries to fit in with Madre Linda's social circle by forming a friendship with Sherry Conrad, a popular local influencer on Instagram. Natalie soon realizes Joe's interest in her and invites him over for a wine night. They share a kiss, but Joe begins to have second thoughts and decides to return home to reignite his physical relationship with Love. The following night, they attend a party hosted by Sherry, where Love overhears her gossiping about her family and the mysterious death of her brother, 40. After a brief conversation with Natalie, Love becomes suspicious of Joe's fixation on her and accuses him of being obsessed. Joe denies these allegations, but Love is left feeling uneasy. Later, Natalie takes Love to view a vacant store with the hopes of opening a bakery. However, after discovering Joe's hidden stash of stolen items from Natalie, Love snaps and murders her in the basement of the property. In an effort to save their troubled marriage, Joe and Love attend couples therapy. At the same time, they hatch a plan to dispose of Natalie's body in a nearby forest and establish a credible alibi for her disappearance. Love has a chance encounter with Theo, a college student, at the supermarket, while Joe befriends Marianne, Madre Linda's librarian, who provides him with rare books to restore and sell for extra money. At the Conrad's children's birthday party, they discover that all residents of Madre Linda wear a biosensor developed by Matthew on their rings. Knowing this, Joe and Love decide to exhume Natalie's body and remove her wedding ring before burying her under the foundation of a construction site. With the weight of their crime lifted from their shoulders, the couple reconciles and vows never to commit murder again. Love opens her bakery, a fresh tart, and is pleasantly surprised to find out that Theo is actually the stepson of Matthew. As she grows her business, Joe and Love construct a new plexiglass cage beneath the bakery to keep their secrets safe. As the investigation into Natalie's disappearance heats up, Joe and Love plot to pin the blame for her murder on Matthew by planting Natalie's blood-stained scarf in his home. Just as their plan is taking shape, Henry suddenly falls ill with measles and is rushed to the hospital. While breaking into the Engler home, Joe collapses, revealing that he too has contracted measles. Matthew nurses him back to health, and Joe suggests that he make a statement to the press to clear his name. During a vigil for Natalie, Matthew follows Joe's advice and addresses the media. Theo starts showing interest in Love, but she rejects his advances. However, they bond at the hospital over Theo's strained relationship with his stepfather. Meanwhile, Dottie reveals that she and Love's father are getting divorced, which puts the family's finances in jeopardy. As Henry makes a full recovery, Joe and Love have a change of heart and decide not to frame Matthew. They destroy the scarf, and the police later recover Natalie's wedding ring. The following day, Gil, a neighbor, approaches Love at her bakery and reveals that his unvaccinated daughters gave Henry measles. In a fit of rage, Love bludgeons him unconscious as he leaves. After bludgeoning Gil unconscious, Joe and Love lock him in the plexiglass vault in the basement of their bakery. They soon realize that they cannot release Gil without assurance that he will not report the assault, so they embark on a search for incriminating information they can use as leverage. Love's family's private investigator turns up information linking Gil's son to a recent sexual assault case on a college campus, which leads to Gil becoming disgusted with his son's behavior. He hangs himself inside the cage. Determined to keep their secret safe, Joe and Love hatch a plan to frame Gil for Natalie's murder. Love plants the murder weapon with Gil's fingerprints at the forest where Sherry is organizing a community search for Natalie. Meanwhile, Joe moves Gil's body to his own residence and fabricates a suicide note from Gil declaring that he took his own life out of guilt for killing Natalie. Their ruse is successful, and 6 months pass by in relative peace. Theo and Love share a heartfelt conversation and a kiss, while Joe becomes increasingly obsessed with Marianne. Joe, with the encouragement of his therapist, decides to branch out and make new friends. He joins Carrie, Sherry's husband and a personal development coach, on a hunting trip with a group of friends. However, tensions arise when Joe discovers that Love has been financially supporting Theo, and Love reveals that Theo had kissed her at her bakery. During the trip, Carrie challenges Joe to confront his inner strength and a physical altercation ensues. Joe ends up pushing Carrie over a cliff, leaving him unconscious. Despite the altercation, Carrie regains consciousness and declares that he has helped Joe find his inner strength. The experience leads to a cathartic release for Joe, who embraces his newfound friends. Meanwhile, Theo calls Love from the police station after getting arrested for drunk driving on an electric scooter. The two share a romantic moment on the scooter, but Love eventually realizes that she needs to end their relationship for good. On the same night, Dottie realizes Love's involvement in Gil's death and Love decides to distance herself from Theo. Joe, who is becoming increasingly obsessed with Marianne, sets off the alarm at the bakery to give himself an excuse to leave the house and stalk her. As Joe delves deeper into Marianne's life, he finds out she is fighting for custody of her child with her ex-husband, Ryan Goodwin, a local news reporter. When he intervenes in a heated argument between Marianne and Ryan at the library, Marianne rebukes him. However, during a crisis caused by the library's malfunctioning sprinkler system, Marianne confides in Joe about her difficulties and they share a passionate kiss. Love, still grieving the loss of 40, believes she may be expecting Theo's child, but later realizes it is just her menstrual cycle. She gets drunk after a fight with her mother and imagines 40's presence, which helps her come to terms with his death. Theo uncovers Matthew's illegal monitoring of Madre Linda's residence in an effort to solve Natalie's murder and informs Love. Joe and Love concur that Love should keep Theo close to obtain information about Matthew's investigation. Marianne decides not to act on her feelings for Joe due to moral considerations. Matthew hires a skilled programmer from his company to assist him in accessing Madre Linda's security footage. Despite trying to initiate intimacy with Joe, who is solely focused on Marianne, Love engages in another sexual encounter with Theo. Sherry asks Love to help cater for a fundraiser event at the library. Joe attempts to sabotage Ryan by making him relapse, but Ryan is aware of Joe's actions and confronts him at the fundraiser, causing the plan to fail. Love runs into Marianne at the event. Later, Sherry and Carrie approach Love and express their interest in participating in a swinging experience with Love and Joe. Dottie, who is devastated by the loss of Anavrin and her vineyard in the divorce settlement, takes Henry and burns down the vineyard. She is ordered to attend rehab and Love terminates their relationship. Dottie confides in Joe about Love's possible involvement in the death of her first husband, James. Joe decides to participate in the swinging activity with the Conrads, with the aim of showing Marianne the cracks in their marriage and making his move on her. He testifies in Marianne's custody hearing for her daughter with Ryan, but Marianne later contacts him in tears, telling him that Ryan had leaked explicit photos of her in an effort to harm her case. Joe finds out that Ryan has connections with the judge in the case. Theo enters Matthew's office and discovers his database of the Madre Linda security footage. He is caught by Matthew, who expresses his suspicion of Love's involvement in Natalie's disappearance. As they engage in sexual activities with the Conrads, Love becomes aware of Joe's daydreaming about someone else and confronts him. She reminds Joe of the commitment she made to their marriage by killing Natalie. The Conrads, who overhear their argument, try to escape, but Love and Joe subdue and confine them in the plexiglass vault. The two then engage in a passionate lovemaking session, realizing that violence is what turns them on. Joe comes across Carrie's firearm while tidying up the house. Later, he encounters a discouraged Marianne outside a liquor store, where she confides in him about Ryan taking their daughter to New Jersey. Joe encourages her not to give up on her daughter, and the two engage in a passionate encounter. When Ryan finds out about Joe's stalking, a physical altercation ensues and ends with Joe fatally stabbing Ryan. In an effort to escape the cage, Sherry proposes to Love that she reveal Matthew's illegal surveillance on her lifestyle blog. Love gives them Carrie's gun and offers to release one of them if they kill the other, hoping to fake a murder-suicide. Theo offers to get a copy of Matthew's surveillance footage, assuming Love is a victim of Joe's domestic abuse, based on a video recording of their argument. However, Matthew's legal team orders him to delete the footage. Despite this, Theo manages to retrieve a backup of the data before Matthew deletes it. Theo analyzes the footage and realizes that Joe had taken Natalie's car from the bakery. He goes to the bakery to inform Love, but instead finds the Conrads locked in the cage. As he is leaving, he runs into Love, who beats him with a fire extinguisher. Joe starts to delve into Marianne's personal life and discovers that she is a recovering addict in the midst of a contentious custody battle with her ex-husband Ryan Goodwin, who is a local news reporter. However, when he tries to intervene in an argument between Ryan and Marianne at the library, Marianne rebukes him. Suddenly, the library's sprinkler system malfunctions, and as Joe spends the night assisting Marianne with saving the books, she opens up to him about her struggles and they share a passionate kiss. Meanwhile, Love, who is still grappling with Forty's death, believes she may be pregnant with Theo's child, but later realizes it is just her period. After a heated argument with her mother, Love gets drunk and has a hallucination of Forty, which helps her to grieve his loss. Theo discovers that Matthew has been illegally monitoring the residence of Madre Linda to find the real killer of Natalie, and warns Love. Joe and Love agree that Love should keep Theo close as a source of information on Matthew's investigation.